Corv and Haze Lord Hayes. This is the Discourse on Triality by St. Paveclaff, who was once mistaken for a bell. In the beginning, there were two. Then the third showed up, and all hell became polite. Now listen here, you plump sack of mysteries. If you've come this far, it means you're ready to throw duality into the river and watch it sink like an overconfident philosopher with stones in his pockets. We've all been there. You've grown weary with the two-step dance of this or that, of light and dark, yes and no, good and bad, as though the entire infinite were just some celestial coin flip. Hasn't a frog mage ever said to you, "Ribbit"? There may be two sides of a coin, but there is a middle. Ribbit. But let me tell you, and write this upon the backs of your eyelids if you can, duality is but the introduction to the real party, and the real party is triality. 1. The secret of the third. While the untrained mind claps like a simpleton at the two puppets on the stage, left hand, right hand, left hand, right hand, the wise old scoundrel looks for the puppeteer. That's the third. The hidden hand, the stillness behind the action, the unspoken meaning behind the word. Triality is not the third part of the list. It is the reconciliation, the tension holder, the unifier of the other two. Without the third, the two are locked in eternal bickering, like two monks arguing over the shape of the sky, while the sun quietly sets behind them. 2. The divine comedy of threes. You see it everywhere once you stop being blindfolded by logic. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. And if you ask me, the ghost is the clever one, always sneaking about, never paying rent. Body, mind, and spirit. The spirit, of course, is the only one that doesn't sulk. That's funny, I have a dog named Spirit. Past, present, future. But the third, the present, is the only place anyone can ever actually sit and have tea, which is very necessary, especially if you're St. Paveclaff. If you're Corv and Lord Hayes, coffee. Every pair is a quarrel, and the third is the peacemaker, the referee, and the prize all rolled into one. 3. The humor of the third. When I once sat atop a hill for 14 years, though I confess I slept through most of it, I learned the secret of triality. Everything comes in threes, but fools only count to 2. The world, my dear, is a tripod. Remove one leg, and the whole show falls over. This is why the hyperverse isn't at war, but in a peculiar state of divine balance. The hidden third keeps the scales from breaking. But don't mistake this for balance alone. The third is not some boring peacemaker like the village magistrate who confiscates your wine. No. The third is the transcendent fool who refuses to take sides at all, and by refusing, renders both sides meaningless. 4. Application for the spiritually lazy. Although I figure most of y'all don't even know that laziness is a symptom, not a problem. If you ever feel trapped between two choices, one path leading to ruin, the other to the same ruin, but with fancier signage, stop looking at the path. Look at the walker. That's the third. That's you. Before you remembered you were supposed to be concerned. When faced with a problem, don't choose sides. Choose the space between. That's where the wine is. And the answers too. But don't let me tell you what to do. That's your job. 5. The last word, but not really. So, young maggot of wisdom, the next time you meet duality dressed up as truth, bow politely, nod your head, and then walk straight through the middle as if you own the place. Because, in fact, you do. For the wise know this. Duality divides, but triality dissolves. Duality argues, but triality laughs. Duality dances, but triality is the music. And if you can't find the third in any situation, it's because you're standing on it. End of discourse. Scribbled margin note. I think I left my third in the outhouse. Must retrieve it before dawn. And so, here's another lost gem from St. Paveclaff's book of thoroughly improper wisdom, tucked between 2 pages stained with what scholars suspect was either wine or plum sauce. The Parable of the 3 Idiots, as told by St. Paveclaff, of course, in one of his better moods. You don't want to see him on Tuesday, let me tell you. Today's not Tuesday, is it? Whew, good. Once upon an afternoon that had no business being called anything at all, there were 3 idiots, which is to say, 3 ordinary people with very important hats. The first idiot believed in the world as it appeared. A rock is a rock, he said, and promptly stubbed his toe on it every morning until he learned to curse fluently in 3 languages, none of which he understood. The second idiot believed the world was an illusion. The rock is a thought, he said, and promptly fell off a cliff while thinking himself quite weightless. The third idiot sat on the rock and drank tea. When asked what he believed, he replied, "The rock is the rock. The thought is the thought. And the tea is still too hot." And so, the other 2 argued until their tongues grew dry, while the third idiot sipped in peace and watched the world dance its 2-step, knowing full well that the only real fool is the one who tries to solve the riddle without first enjoying the scenery. the moral. When faced with the choice between this or that, choose sip. I think I'll do that right now. Nice. Paveclaff's note, written sideways in margin. The trick is, all idiots become wise once they stop answering questions that never asked for them. And now, here is something fresh from the cracked parchment of St. Paveclaff's lost and found department of cosmic nonsense. The lost commandments of Triality, as recovered from a wine-soaked scroll, translated questionably by Brother Humdrum of the Indecisive Order. 1. Thou shalt not trust any truth that comes in pairs, for it is missing its hat. All real truths wear a third piece, the unseen, the unsaid, the unspeakably ridiculous. 2. When faced with two options, remember, the third has already chosen you. It waits in the silence while you bicker. 3. The holy trinity of the heart is knowing, not knowing, and laughing. If you miss the third, you've missed the point. 4. All conflicts are two blind men arguing over the moon. The third is the moon itself, and it does not care. 5. Creation dances not between yes and no, but through the quiet maybe that weaves them together. There lies the door. And on that notion, have you heard the story of the Chinese fella who owned a bunch of horses? It was a long time ago this happened. Seems like it was only yesterday. In fact, I may have been his son. Who knows? Probably. Maybe. So, one day, long, long ago, it may not have even been in this universe, this Chinese man owned a bunch of horses, and they all got loose and ran away. The townspeople said, "Oh, that's terrible." He said, "Maybe." The next day, the horses came back. With them, some wild horses. The townspeople said, "That's amazing." The man said, "Maybe." The next day, the man's son tried to tame one of the horses and got hurt pretty good. The townspeople said, "Oh no, that's terrible." The man said, "Can you guess it? Maybe." The next day, the military showed up to take his son to war. But they couldn't, because his son was hurt. The townspeople said, "Woo, that was a close one." Do you know what the man said? Maybe. 6. Do not seek balance. Seek the center, where balance was born and promptly wandered off for a drink. 7. The wise do not hold to one or the other. They hold nothing, and so hold everything. Marginal note by Paveclaff. A commandment is only a suggestion wearing boots. And now, a recipe for enlightenment. Serves 3. Found scrawled on the back of a monastery tavern receipt. Ingredients: 1 part perception, 1 part misperception, 1 part transcendence, or substitute with fresh laughter if unavailable. Instructions: 1. In a sturdy bowl called existence, place equal parts perception and misperception. Stir gently until reality starts wobbling like a drunk cardinal on ice skates. 2. Let the mixture sit. This is the hardest part. Most cooks ruin the dish by meddling. 3. When the soup has reached peak confusion, fold in transcendence. You will know it's ready when the difference between the cook, the soup, and the recipe vanishes entirely. 4. Serve immediately in 3 empty cups. Drink the space between the sips. Warning: side effects may include eternal peace, spontaneous laughter, and the inability to take anything seriously ever again, including yourself. Paveclaff's postscript: all good things come in 3s. So do all bad things. The difference is which seat you take at the table. Indeed. Would you like me to continue, if you're still hungry, with the Sermon of the 3 Shadows or the Book of Unfinished Triangles? Just let me know. I can serve them up. Shakalaka, Flourish, honey. Don't sugar my timbers about it.